Hello and welcome to the daily English news program on Azərbaycan Television with the most important events of the day. I'm your host, İlham. President İlham Aliyev signed an executive order on additional measures regarding the continuation of reconstruction works of automobile roads in the territory of Piralahi district of Baku city. According to the executive order, 660,000 monads was allocated to the state agency of Azerbaijan automobile roads from the funds envisaged for the construction and renovation of automobile roads in the distribution of state fixed capital investment of the state budget of the Republic of Azerbaijan for 2021 for the purpose of continuation of reconstruction of automobile roads in Piralahi district. President İlham Aliyev continues to receive messages of congratulations on the occasion of the 28th of May, the Republic Day. Prime Minister of Kuwait, Sabah Al-Khalid Al-Sabah, addressed a letter of congratulations to President İlham Aliyev and extended his best wishes of prosperity and welfare to the President and people of Azerbaijan. A reconnaissance and sabotage group of the Armenian armed forces, taking advantage of adverse weather conditions in Lachin district near the Armenian-Azerbaijani state border, entered the Azerbaijani territory on June 8th. A member of the group, serviceman Artur Kartanyan, was detained thanks to the vigilance of the units of the Azerbaijani armed forces stationed in this direction. The remaining members of the group retreated, leaving the area. In accordance with the preliminary investigations, the group was ordered to mine the liberated territories of Azerbaijan. Currently, information about the detained member of the group is being clarified. A trial was held on the criminal case of the Lebanese hired terrorist Viken Elcikjian Abraham, who fought in the Armenian army during the Karabakh War. Speaking at the hearing, a prosecutor asked the court to sentence the accused person to 20 years in prison. The hearing will be resumed on June 11th.
The investigation revealed that Elcikjian, born in 1979, a citizen of Lebanon, a resident of Beirut, initially accepted the offer on September 29, 2020, to take part in military operations as a mercenary in the deoccupied territories of Azerbaijan in exchange for $2,500. For this purpose, on the same day, in an organized group, he deliberately crossed the protected state border of Azerbaijan from the territory of Armenia outside the checkpoints and arrived in the territories where other mercenaries were situated. Viken Elcikjian was charged under several articles of the Criminal Code of Azerbaijan, and a measure of restraint was chosen against him in the form of arrest. Speaking at an open trial chaired by the judge of the Baku Military Court, Elbey Allahverdiev, in the administrative building of the Yasamal District Court, the defendant's lawyer petitioned to return the case for preliminary investigation because his client refused testimony given during the investigation. After the court did not grant the petition, the testimony of Maral Nazaryan, recognized at the trial as a witness, who was released and sent to Lebanon on March 10th of this year as a result of the humanism demonstrated by Azerbaijan, was shown in a video format. Nazaryan said that the defendant fought against Azerbaijanis in Karabakh for a monetary reward and said that she traveled to Armenia several times with Viken, with whom she was in an official marriage. The investigation revealed that Lebanon citizen and Beirut resident Elcikjian initially accepted the offer on September 29, 2020 to take part in military operations as a mercenary in the deoccupied territories of Azerbaijan in exchange for $2,500. Maral Nazaryan told about her conversation with Viken about the battles, mercenaries fighting in Karabakh on the Armenian sides, and the fact that Azerbaijanis were very strong. They, along with Shusha, also visited Lachin, and on November 10th they were detained by the armed forces of Azerbaijan. Viken Elcikjian said that he did not completely agree with the testimony of Maral Nazaryan and said that he was forcibly sent to the war by the armed forces of Armenia, first to the territory in the Khojavant direction, and then, having escaped from there, he arrived in Shusha. But the court was presented with video footage and photographs taken by him in the combat zone as evidence. The video footage clearly showed how the suspect was in the trench and brought the mortar to full combat readiness. Also featured were footage he posted on social media along with other mercenaries. After both sides were heard, the judge announced the end of the trial and gave the floor to the public prosecutor. Viken Elcikjian, during the years of residence in Lebanon from 1997 to 2011, spent 14 years in the status of a mercenary. The state prosecutor demanded that the defendant be sentenced to 20 years in prison, with 5 years in prison and the remaining term in a maximum security institution. The defendant's lawyer asked the court for time to develop a defense. The process will continue on June 11th.
World-renowned photographer of the National Geographic magazine, Rizad Agati, shared footage of the place where the mine exploded on his Instagram page. Quote, "Two Azerbaijani journalists were killed here. when their car hit one of million landmines planted by Armenian forces in Karabakh. After the military defeat, before leaving, they planted thousands of more landmines and booby traps. Against all international treaties and Geneva Convention, the Armenian government refuses to give the landmines map, causing hundreds of new deaths and mutilations, especially among civilians, and delaying the reconstruction and refugees' return. End of quote. After the shameful defeat on the battlefield in the fall of 2020, having lost all hope for the valiant and invincible Armenian fighters, Armenian diplomats began disseminating letters full of nonsense. The so-called permanent representative of Armenia to the UN, Mermerkaryan, took it upon himself to send a letter of the shamefully defeated representatives of the now non-existent puppet regime. The letter says that Azerbaijan allegedly occupied the city of Shusha, expelled the Armenians from there, and began to destroy their homes and cultural heritage. In response to Mermerkaryan's nonsensical letter, Azerbaijan's permanent representative to the UN, Yashar Aliyev, addressed the letter to the Secretary General of the organization, Antonio Guterres. The letter strongly condemns the continuation of dissemination of letters on behalf of a non-existent structure and its fictitious officials. It has emphasized that such documents have no legal force. The U.S. Acting Assistant Secretary for European and Eurasian Affairs, Philip Ricker, has arrived in Azerbaijan on a two-day visit. In the course of the visit, Philip Ricker will meet the government, the civil society and business leaders to discuss bilateral priorities and issues related to the Second Karabakh War. At the meeting of the Milli Meclis held on June 8th, the bill on the implementation of the state budget for 2021 was discussed and approved in the third reading. At the meeting, Finance Minister Samir Sharifov said that the restoration and reconstruction work in the liberated territories will be in the focus of the next year's state budget. In addition, science and education expenses are among the government's priorities. The amount of funds allocated by the state to education is increasing every year. Samir Sharifov noted that in accordance with the instructions of President Ilham Aliyev, many important decisions in the field of education will be made soon. An Azerbaijani parliamentary delegation led by head of the Azerbaijan-Turkey Working Group on Interparliamentary Ties is on a visit to Turkey. During the visit, issues related to the development of relations between the legislative bodies of the two countries, as well as cooperation in the liberated territories, will be discussed. Azerbaijani parliamentarians met with the members of the Agriculture and Forestry Commission of Turkey's Grand National Assembly. It was noted that the members of the Commission intend to visit the regions liberated from the Armenian occupation and explore opportunities for the development of cooperation in the agricultural sector. An exchange of views on the interparliamentary ties, as well as the commissioning of the Zengezur corridor, took place during the meeting with members of Turkey-Azerbaijan Interparliamentary Friendship Group at the Turkish Grand National Assembly. The head of the Azerbaijani delegation, Ahliman Amir Aslanov, stressed the political and moral support provided by Turkey to our country during the 44-day war. The members of the Milli Meclis also met with ministers of health and education. That was all for the day. Thank you for being with us and see you next time.